Welcome back to the Best Small Business Show. It's beautiful May out there. It's spring. The year is moving fast. Oh my gosh, it's the 5th month. And hopefully your revenue is keeping pace with the weather.
Yes, definitely. We want things to be up in the second quarter and have everybody have an incredible experience. But today we are tackling a massive operational headache, the cheap offshore labor trap.
Yeah, this is a lot of small businesses run into this. It looks fantastic on your P&L. Oh, I'm paying someone $5 an hour to be my VA. Oh, it's great. But it's absolutely crushing your sleep schedule. So today's solution, BJ and I are going to be teaching you how to turn that chaotic global workforce that you've built into a self-managing machine. So you don't have to constantly keep an eye on it and fix it and, constantly, headaches and everything. So,
well, Rich, set up the scene for us. Why is this blowing up in people's faces right now?
And I'll be honest, it's happened to me a number of times because the owners are romanticizing the $5 to $10 an hour virtual assistant or developer. They go, oh, it's so great. I could just get somebody in Romania or the Philippines to do this. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that there's a lot of baggage that comes along. People and businesses rely on this cheap labor, and they forget that they still have to manage that person. They kind of like, well, here you go, do it. And what they get back is not what they thought.
Right. And you know how you say to yourself, okay, that's costing me $5 an hour. And the amount of your own personal time has to be included in there because you're going to double up, maybe triple up on how you have to work with them, as opposed to an American worker who would understand right away the things that you might need. So I really feel that you need to think of it from a time zone fatigue and the cultural communication barriers, because they're very real. They're very real. They're going to become part of your, the entire ethos of what you're doing. The mindset shifts that you need to do today. You aren't just buying hours. You are building a global system. So you got to think of it differently.
BJ, you're spot on about that. As we do each week, we're going to cover 4 key points to build an offshore structure so you stop babysitting and actually working in your business. So BJ, kick us off with point number 1.
The true cost of time zone drag. Time zones can kill your business momentum. Waiting 24 hours for a simple yes or no can really destroy your ROI. Think about it. Our clients, they want things to happen in a minute, not in another day. So this is a huge issue.
Yeah, and you think you're paying $5 an hour, but in essence, you're losing thousands in delayed deliverables. Suddenly your life becomes a babysitting nightmare at 2 a.m. Something that you expected to be done and finished, you open up that file and you're like, this is nothing what I asked for. This is or this is so bad. This person spent absolutely no time, or this person went way off course and did something that I would never have expected.
We had a client who decided to have 2 pages from their website made by somebody offshore, and didn't give them a brief or anything, just told them, this one's going to be on, birthday parties, this one's going to be on this. And what they got back was absolutely scary. It broke the website. My senior account director had to get involved. She had to spend a couple of hours retooling and figuring out with the dev team, the amount that cost that client was not $5 an hour.
Yeah.
So think about it. I mean, that can be a tricky thing. So really a great call to action here would be calculate your true hourly rate. You got to add all those hours that we talked about earlier that you personally spend fixing, waiting, managing their base pay. Is it still a bargain? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. I had a client that had offshored their SEO,
Oh my God.
and it was horrible. The person, I don't know, they had no idea what they were doing, and the client had to call them and say, "You need to go back into every page on my site and strip the SEO that you've done, and put back what was there." And the person was like, and they ended up not paying them, and it was just horrible. They were
Horrible
so out
mess.
of their league. So
Yeah. Well, bring us into point number 2.
point 2 is context over code. Okay.
Mm.
Let's be honest. There is a cultural communication barrier. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's there. And it's not just a language difference. Just because you don't speak the language, it's a lack of shared business context. And BJ, I know you've run into this many times.
Oh my gosh. Think about it, the revolution that's going on right now with SEO and GEO, and the fact that, a lot of our people who we speak to on a daily basis for the podcast are small business owners. So you're regional. You could be national, but you're regional basically, and you really have to know your geo targeting and you have to know your area. And that's where you just cannot hand off a raw task and walk away expecting perfection. The offshore worker just cannot understand what you are talking about. A offshore worker might very politely, and I can't tell you how great some of the relationships can be, but they very politely will follow very bad directions that you have given them right off the cliff if you don't rein it in and really provide what they need.
It's interesting because I've had clients that have run into where they've handed off something to someone. Well, guess what? That person is handing it off to someone else.
Thank you.
And it's almost like, I forget what they call it, telephone. It goes,
Yes.
and that person hands it off, and then what you get is absolutely nothing from what you asked for. So a great action step is to build context heavy SOPs. Okay, don't just tell them what to do, explicitly outline why it matters to the end client. Build those standard operating procedures step by step by step. BJ, why don't you take us through the 7 steps?
Okay. So your number 1, title and purpose, what the procedure is and why it exists. Number 2, scope, who it applies to, and then in what situations. The responsibilities, roles of the people involved. Then you move on to materials and tools used, equipment and resources required. This is extremely important. You've got to be working within your environment. Procedure steps, clear, ordered instructions. Safety and compliance notes. So many of us are under, certain concerns that we need to be. Think of those risks, rules, and regulations. And then 7, references, related documents and standards. I know this seems like a lot for just one project, but once you create a template, you're going to be able to put in the information that you need to.
Yeah, it's once you build the standard operating procedures, and by the way, you could template it. And
You could
and
ask AI how to be.
exactly. But once you map it this way, you have infinitely fewer headaches because you're giving them all the information. This is the map. You have fewer derailments and hopefully a happier relationship with your team.
And you know what I find is when things do go well, they're actually relieved.
Yeah.
They're relieved because they feel like they've met the point. And for you, it's fantastic because from there on in, woohoo, it really works out well. Let's take a little promo break and get back into it after that.
Well, this podcast is sponsored by New Renew Brand Marketing, a full-service agency building strong brands with clarity and vision. Their clients are reaching their potential with innovative messaging, results-driven AI research and analytics, with their audiences front and center. Reach out to BJ Flagg at newrenew.com today.
Thank you, Rich. Now I have a question for you. Are you building your business, or is your business building a ceiling? Rich G delivers the hard truths and bulletproof strategies that help your small business grow 20 to 25% a year. That's a fact I should know. Stop letting your own hustle become your biggest bottleneck. Uncover your performance ceiling score with a free 60-second quiz on richg.com today. Fantastic thing to do.
Let's get back into it. BJ, what's our third point?
Master the time zone handoff. I am an expert at this. You got to stop trying to sync your clocks. If you are relying on the live Zoom meetings to get through, everything that's been done, you've already failed. So there's a couple of good tricks and trades that you can get involved in for this.
Yeah, you need a competent time zone architecture. Okay. The work has to flow seamlessly while you're asleep. That's the reason why you're doing this. You want this to happen while you're asleep.
Yeah. And one of the things we had clients in California and then Paris, England and Paris. And we all had a little card on the side of our computers that could tell you exactly what was going on, like our work windows. And there's overlap. But you also have to be prepared to take advantage of the overnight benefits. So a great action step here is the end of day video handoff. All you do is you require a 3-minute video from your offshore team outlining what was done and what's blocked, delivered before your alarm goes off that next thing. So there's hard deadlines. There's also a window for questions prior to the handoff. And you too can do a video back to them to show what's happening. We were very excited to work with people in Paris. A number of us parlent en français, so we were able to help them with their English, and they in turn helped us with our French. So in some respects, we tried to get over some of those barriers, but one of them, it's the time.
Yeah. So point number 4, appoint a local integrator. This is actually my favorite one because this is genius. You cannot directly manage 10 offshore team members. You're going to become the ultimate bottleneck. You're going to just be back to where you started from, of your own cheap labor force.
Yeah, you really need a shield. You need someone in their time zone managing the day-to-day, because you need them to understand the project and be able to really get some questions answered and have things moving through so that you're not hearing a question at the end of the day or whatever. A great action step here is to promote your sharpest offshore workers as a team lead. So you have to look at them and say, ooh, who's my diamond in the rough? Who's the one who's going to be a huge help?
Yeah, and what you do is pay them a premium to handle the QA and the time zone fires. They're the single point of contact for you. So you only have to manage one person instead of 10. Instead of trying to corral all the sheep, you have that one person that's over there in that time zone managing that team. And then
Yeah.
you just have to talk to that one person and make sure you only have to explain it once, which is nice.
Which is so nice. Definitely. Well, that's a wrap up. 2026 is about working smarter, not just hiring cheaper.
Yeah, build the actual structure, reclaim your time, and watch those offshore profits actually stick to the bottom line.
Better people, better business, better life.
And thanks again to our wonderful producer, Richard Scalzo, for making us look and sound great. And thank you for tuning in to the Best Small Business Show.